Here we are at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya for the start of today's qualifying session. It won't be long now until we're ready to join the action down at trackside. So, could be a tasty one today then, Ants. We've got all the ingredients, that's for sure. Treacherous conditions, an ever-changing racetrack and one or two cars just behind the pace setters who maybe, just maybe, fancy a bit of an upset after a good performance from them in free practice.
And the question has to be, of course, what is that circuit going to look like in 10 to 15 minutes from now? If you think the rain's going to get worse, then you have to be straight out when the lights go green to find whatever grip you can. But if it eases off, then you're better off waiting, saving the tyres and going out at the perfect moment. The other thing that comes with these conditions? Traffic, and the lack of visibility that comes from sitting in the spray. It's going to be a constant problem, and I expect to see a lot of frustrated drivers with ruined laps out there today.
Sorry about that, just wasn't our day.
The grid is all set then for the race tomorrow, but before
Tough luck there. It's not quite where we'd want to be on the grid, but chin up, it's not the...
Good afternoon from a very familiar setting. It's race day here in Spain, and with everything still to play for in the championship battle, there's no room for mistakes in a Grand Prix that's well known for creating them. It's a sellout crowd of 140,000 here today as we await lights out for the 730-metre sprint down to turn 1 of this 2.9-mile racetrack. Overtaking is challenging through these 16 corners, but there's still a lot of high-speed excitement to be found, including the flat-out turn 3 and the terrifying blind right of turn 9. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about McLaren. We have a number of changes to the aerodynamic regulations this year, and the signs haven't looked good for them so far in terms of getting to grips with those changes.
There are a few downcast looks within the team this weekend. I think they've been hit fairly hard by the new regs. But this is only the first step down a long road of development, and even if they don't maximise their points today, there are plenty more up for grabs this season.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Kimi Räikkönen starts today from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Bottas, Daniel Ricciardo, and Vettel, Alonso, Leclerc, Sainz, and Nico Hülkenberg, Grosjean, Perez, Esteban Ocon, and Ericsson, Van Dorn, Stroll, Brendan Hartley, and Sergei Sorokin. Varsandi and Kevin Magnussen rounds off the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
You qualified lower than we expected. See if you could... We're not seeing any technical issues coming off the practice start. Watch the RPM on the full start. We don't want to bog down. Conditions look stable at the moment. No rain currently expected. Okay, clear. Brendan's dropped out of the race. DRS is now enabled and will be available to use when you are within 1 second of the car ahead in the DRS zone. Yellow flag. We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the softs. Good job, nice overtake. Gap to first place is 8.4 seconds. Okay, remember to pit this lap. Go, go, go. You'll be racing on the exit. Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound. Brilliant. Nice move. The gap behind us is 2.1 seconds. The car behind has come in. They're now on the soft tyre, softs on the car behind. Good job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far. We're running an excess on fuel. Mix 3 is there if you need it. Mix 3. Gap to car in front is 1.7 seconds. The gap to the car ahead is 2.5 seconds. We're 7 places up on our predicted objective. 7 places. Come on, keep going. Our gap to the car in front is 3.5 seconds. Okay, good work, great pass. The gap to the car behind is 3.7 seconds. We have 5 laps of fuel remaining. We're running in excess of fuel. We can turn up the engine to mix mode 3 if you need it. Turn fuel to rich. This is your final lap of the race. There's 3 laps of fuel remaining. Good job, you did really well. Super driving.
A great win then for the Maranello team today. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy.
So here they come now, out onto the podium. Wherever you go, anywhere in the world, the prancing horse flags are dominant in the grandstands, and they're out in force again today. It's Ferrari on the top step once more. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Well, the gap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race today for our championship leader. Moving on to the driver of the day then, Anthony Davidson.
Great work out there today. How do you think it went? You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy? You're beating all expectations. Would you say... Appreciate your time.